We know that we should have dreams. Some people say, but I need to have reasonable ones. I don't want to be disappointed. I'm just going to have a little goal, a little dream, and then maybe I can get it. And if I don't, I won't be disappointed. You know what? You will. Because if you want your life to change, this will change your life. When you have a goal in your head, it's not even a goal. It's a fantasy. It's a dream. When you have a book like this, you can call it your goal book, and you write out your goals and you go through it. I'm just about to take you through bit by bit, stage by stage. You go back to that book, you can look at it, you can touch it, you can just make it real. So remember, if you do not write out your goals as a plan and write out how to accomplish them, you don't have a goal. You have a wish, you have a dream, you have a daydream. If you want to go, get a pen, get a nice little book like this. You can do it on your phone too. You can make a document in your computer and be prepared to make your goals real. So let's start now. Get your book, pause this if you need to go and find one, create one. And I want you to pick a goal, and do not even start with, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want more money. These are what I call wishy-washy goals. No. If you can make your goals real, you might as well make them huge, big, enormous, phenomenal. So if you say, well, I want more money, that's my goal. You go, oh, hang on a minute. Hey, I got $10 here. There you go. You go, well, that's not my goal. But you said, I want more money. And I learned this when I used to work with women who were infertile that come in and go, you know, I just want to be pregnant. I want to be pregnant so bad. If I was just pregnant, I go, well, as I look at your notes, you've been pregnant 6 times. I know, I keep miscarrying. So being pregnant is not your goal, is it? What? Isn't your goal to carry to full term a healthy, robust, bouncing baby, to deliver a perfect baby, to be a great mum? Yeah, that's my goal. Well, why don't you say that? Because you can be pregnant lots of times and never have a baby, or you can say, my goal is to have a perfect baby. How about this? My goal is to get lots of attention. For what? A nervous twitch? Explosive gas? That will give you attention, but that's not what you want, is it? Nobody wants explosive gas. So let's start with a big goal. Pause if you need to. Take some time, open your book, and write out a big goal. Now, you can have a career goal on whatever. I'm going to have my own company, create my own business, invent something. You can have a relationship goal. My relationship is wonderful. We grow in loving and respecting each other. And you can have a health goal. But I want you to pick one, only one, not 3, not 5, not 10. One goal. It can be career, it can be health, it can be love. Pick one goal. And then I want you to decide why you want that goal so much. So the first thing is, I have a goal. I want to have my own business. That's my goal. And now you're going to go to a next page and write out, why do you want to have your own business so much? And the more reasons you can write out why, the more likely you will make that goal real. So write down why. Write down as many whys as you can. And remember, you can come back any time to this and think, oh, I've thought of another why and another why. So leave plenty of space. Take your time. And when you've done your whys, go to another page and write out who will benefit from you achieving that goal. Of course, you will, but who? Who will benefit? For instance, if you have your own business, you will employ people who will benefit. Maybe your kids will go to private school. Maybe your business will allow you to help your partner have their business. The more people who will benefit from you achieving your goal, the more reasons you have to achieve that goal. So write out who will benefit from you achieving a goal. Who, how, and why will they benefit? You're going to buy your mum a house, put your niece and nephew through private school. Did you think of your mind as like the genie in the bottle that says, your wish is my command? And I want you to understand that every thought you think and every word you say is a blueprint that your mind, body, and psyche must make real. So when you write out your goals, don't say, I wish I could be rich. I long to be in a loving relationship. Write it as if it's already happening. I am a millionaire. I am in a loving relationship. You might go, well, that doesn't make sense. It does make sense because your mind only works in the present tense. When you say next year I'll have a bikini body, it doesn't know what next year is. And so you must write your goals in the present tense. I am, I always, I have, I do. You must use words that make a picture. I want more money, where you can find 10 cents or $1. But you have to say, not I want more money, I am making a phenomenal amount of money. I am making $1 million because I monetize the gift I have, or I make $10 million a year because I monetize the skill. Then you have to make it detailed. You have to give your mind an image to go towards. What you want wants you. What you are moving towards is moving towards you, but you must have an image. So you could say, I'm going to write a best-selling book. You could go, I am writing a best-selling book and it is all about X and it's full of Y. And the reason people love it is because, and the reason people buy it is, and when it gets reviewed, they say this. And you see, you're making your goal real. You're making it tangible. You're giving your mind a very clear picture to go towards. So let's go further. So let's turn to another brand new page. And remember, we're always starting on this page. So that page is free and that page is free for more. This new page is about your discipline. How many hours a day are you going to spend working on your goal? How often are you going to come back to this book and look at it? I want you to write out, I am, I always, I have, I do, and I want you to fill that in. You see, the best goal in the world will not work if you don't work. And many people fail at this point. They write out a goal. My goal is to be a millionaire. My goal is to be famous. My goal is to be wildly in love. And they think that's it. It's not it. If you want to be madly in love, write out all the reasons why, but then you have got to put yourself in front of the kind of person you want to share your life with. If you want to start your own business and you have a reason why, you also need to have the discipline to meet people who will fund you, sponsor you, joint venture with you. So I want you to really understand that the best goal will not work if you don't work. You can have the start point, but you have to keep going. Many of the most successful people ever say, well, you know, I had a goal. Luther Vandross had a goal to be a rock star. And people said, well, you're an overnight success. He went, I don't think so. You know, I sang jingles for KFC for 12 years. That's a long night, 12 years. And people said, but Luther, you're singing on television. That's cool. You get paid a lot of money for KFC. He said, yeah, but it's not my goal. And he stuck it out. And many people have got so close to success and had to keep going. And you have to keep going. So look at your discipline and decide you will give more to your goal. Give even more. Work on it. Look at it. Write it out. Think about it. Talk about it. You must be prepared to give so much to your goal. In fact, you must be prepared to be unstoppable in the pursuit of your goal. When I wrote my first book, I took it to several publishers and some rejected it. And I still remember that feeling. Authors never forget it, the thud. I sent my manuscript off. I could hear the thud, it came back. They never send back the manuscript unless they don't want it, and that was okay. But then I heard the thud again, and then I heard the thud again. And when you hear the thud for the 5th and 6th times, it's like, oh no, they're sending back my book. J.K. Rowling, do you know how many times Harry Potter got rejected? Her goal was to write a best-selling book. She heard the thud over and over again. Every time she heard the thud, she picked that book up. She put it back in an envelope and she sent it back. And she said, you know, I had a little plastic covering and I had no money. And I bought this special little cover and I put the manuscript in it and I made it look so nice. And they sent it back without it. I had to go and buy that cover again. but she was tenacious. She kept going. She got rejected. She came back. You must come back from rejection. You must see a denial and a no as a delay. You must have what I call a bounce back factor, like a big rubber ball, you bounce back. Writers have had their work rejected. Desperate Housewives, they were told that would never make it. The Sopranos, people said that will never make it. It's too violent. It's not funny. It happened to become one of the most successful TV series of all time. And if you knew, even Gone with the Wind, they were said that will never make it. So many things we buy, like Trunky, the little children's suitcase, Tangled teasers. We're told this won't make it. You won't make it. Many people you see out there who've made it have been told no many, many, many times, but they come back and they come back. You must not allow rejection to stop you. You must understand the only person who can ever reject you is you. And if you don't reject you, no one can. My husband owned a chain of comedy stores, and one day a comedian went up and he told the joke. It was funny. It all went downhill. And when he came off, my husband was waiting and he said, "Did you see how much they loved the first joke?" And I loved that because he didn't focus on the fact they didn't like any of the others. He held on to they liked the first one, and he knew he could take that and have lots more first ones. And you can do that too. So let's go to another page. This is really, really important. I want you to work on your self-belief and confidence. Write out what kind of confidence you will need to have to achieve that goal. What beliefs do you need to believe to achieve that goal? You know, someone said to Michael Jordan, "You're so lucky." He said, "I know. The more I train, the luckier I become, because you make your own luck." Write out your beliefs. Write out the confidence you will give to yourself, because you can fill yourself up with confidence. You were born with it. You haven't lost it. You've just buried it under limiting beliefs. You can remove those. Let's go to another page, and this is really important. You are worth it. You might go, "Look, that's just the same as the other page." Not quite. And even if it was, I want you to exhaust yourself with writing. You may just say, "I've only written 3 lines." It's fine, but tomorrow you might think of another one and come back. Why are you worth it? Why do you deserve this goal? What makes you worth it? Why do you know you're worth it? How do you know you are worth it? And if you don't know, how are you going to know that you are worth it? You must believe you're worth it. You must know you're worth it. When you know it, the world will join you in knowing it too. Remember, pause the video. Please don't try and keep up with me. This is serious. I want you to pause, write, unpause, write more. I want you to do this. Most people listen to these tutorials, but this is not something to listen to. It's something to participate in. Do it with me. I'm doing this for you. I want you to have phenomenal success. And while you're writing, I'm going to tell you something you probably already know. There were many studies in the 50s where they took a group of graduates and said, "How many of you have goals? And how many of you write them down?" Amazingly, I think, this is not word for word, so please don't quote me, but I pretty much know this. I believe 3% of that graduating year had goals and wrote them out. A higher percentage had goals and didn't write them out, and another group had no goals at all. They went back 20 years later, 30 years later. The wealth of the 3% who had goals and wrote them out was worth more than the other 97% combined. Not only did they have monetary goals that they'd reached, they had better relationships, better health, and all of this was attributed right back to one thing. They had goals, they wrote them out, and they wrote out how to achieve them, why to achieve them, what it would feel like when they achieved them, who would benefit when they achieved them. They didn't probably do all of that, but that's what I make my clients do. And if you do it, You know that you can have that success because that test has been done more than once. It was done again in the 1980s. It was done again in the 1990s. And we're doing it today. Write out your goals, write out your why, write out your reasons, write out what you are going to learn. The new things you're going to learn. If you're going to be a writer, you're going to be a speaker. If you're going to have your own business, you better learn accountancy, and so on and so on. If you're going to sell, you need to learn how to speak. If you want to be a great anything, you need to learn marketing. I train people into being phenomenal therapists. I tell them the truth. Look, it doesn't matter how amazing you are if nobody knows where you are. In most of our businesses, we must learn marketing, search engine optimization. I didn't know any of those things. I do now. I wrote a book called Trying to Get Pregnant and Succeeding. I never liked that title, but it is the most searched for title on the web, Trying to Get Pregnant. So I called my book a title I didn't even agree with because I don't use the word trying. I use the word doing. But I understood that what people search for. I don't like the word losing weight. I don't like the word losing, but people search for that word. So you're going to have to learn marketing, technology, IT, social media. And that's good because the more things you learn, the better you'll be. Mick Jagger studied accountancy after he was a multi-millionaire because he wanted to know where his money was going. And he's very smart. You can do that too. So let's finish with our last few pages. You're worth it. What are you learning? And now I want you to write out on this new page that you are going to act it, talk it, think it, speak it. What will you do differently? I want you to act as if your goal has already happened. I am a best-selling author. I have my own successful business. I am a fabulous entrepreneur. I am an inventor. You need to say it in the same way all the women I met who couldn't conceive, I made them go, I'm expecting a baby that I'm not. Look, you're expecting a tax bill, aren't you? You're expecting a phone call. It's not there, but it's coming. You can expect a baby. You are in a state of expectancy. So I want you to think, how would you talk? How would you dress? How would you speak? What would you do? How would you spend your free time when you have achieved those goals? Write all of that out. It's a lot of writing, I know, but remember, until you write it, it's not even real. So write all these things. You're going to have faith, courage, and I want you to write out some of the risks you are going to take. And here's the truth. The only risk in life is not to take the risk. I rang up a publisher and said, would you like to look at my book? They said no. I sent it to them anyway. Someone had told me that in publishing, if you write on the envelope, this is not an unsolicited manuscript, they accept it. So I sent it in and they accepted it. But I also heard the thud when it came back. But I had to take the risk. I had to ring a publisher and say, would you publish my book? I had to ring an agent and say, would you be my agent? Many people said no, no, no. Successful will hear rejection and they keep going. So what risk are you going to take? You're going to stand up and talk about it. It's like people who go on Shark Tank and Dragon's Den and they get laughed off, and some of them become so successful anyway. The only risk in life is not to take the risk. If you take a risk and it doesn't work, you learned something. We all know that Colonel Parker, I don't know how many Kentucky Fried Chicken recipes he submitted until he submitted the right one. And it's not important. It's only important that you keep going. How many fails Edison had before he created a light bulb, but he kept going. So, plan it, want it, write it, work on it, know you're worth it, and see it as if it was already happening. So don't say one day I will, in the future, next year, in 5 years. Now, I am becoming X now. This is happening in my life now, right now. And when you've finished, well done, but this is not finished. I want you to go back every day, read what you've written, maybe add a little bit more. And as you read it, more ideas will come up, more ideas will come up. Here's something that happens. When you do something to make your goal real, something happens, something shifts. So my story very quickly is that I always wanted to write, but I wasn't sure I could. And then I wrote an article for my daughter's school paper. That was really easy. Everybody loved it. I decided to write a book. I went to an event, sat next to a girl, we were talking, and she told me she was a publisher for Penguin. And she gave me her card, but then she happened to say that she was moving to Hong Kong in 6 weeks. So I took her card, put it in my bag. And 6 weeks, when I knew she'd left, I called her number and asked them. They said, she's left. I went, oh, she asked me to send my book draft. And they went, really? I said, oh, yes, I've got her card here. And she asked me to send my book. They went, okay, well, look, send it, but you must write on it. This is not an unsolicited manuscript, because if you don't, we won't open it. So I sent it to them. I sent it to lots of other publishers too. I took that risk. You see, someone put me in front of that woman. The universe conspired. As I took the courage to write my book, the universe put me next to a publisher. And then I went to a dinner party. I met an agent, and one of my clients said, well, you know, the best agent in town, he's your client. I'm like, really? They went, yeah. And I went, oh, and I called him. He came to me, and he was my client. I treated him for depression long ago, and he became my agent. I didn't need an agent. I've got a book deal already, because Penguin took my book. He said, I will get you 5 times what they're offering you. And he did. All these things happened. All these unforeseen events came out because of my commitment to do something. The minute you commit to something, to your goal book, write it, read it, touch it, the minute you commit to it, the universe works with you. All kinds of unforeseen, amazing things will be put in your way, right in front of you, because you committed. Everything will fall into place. Things will happen. Coincidence means 2 angles that fit together perfectly. Your brain should be your best friend. It should be your cheerleader. It should be your PA. It should work for you every day. So put your hand up if that's what happens. If your brain is your best friend and does what you want, put your hand up. Okay, I can't see all of you, but I can see a lot of you not putting your hand up. I've been a therapist for a long time, and when I was in school, my teacher said, well, you know, Marisa, the brain is very complicated, and it really takes a lifetime to work out your brain, and then it takes another lifetime to make it work for you. I'm like, really? Well, I don't know anyone that has 2 lifetimes. And how can that be? At the end of my life, on my deathbed, I go, yay, I finally cracked how my brain works. Oh, what a shame. I don't have enough time to put that into practice. Couldn't be. Nature would never be so silly that at the end of our life, it explains to us finally how our mind works. I'm going to tell you 3 things about your mind, and if you use them, you can have anything that you want. So let me start with the first one. This is very important. Your mind's job is not to make you happy. If you think that's your mind's job, you're going to be unhappy, because your mind has a very important job. It's to keep you alive on the planet, actually against impossible odds. So how your mind keeps you alive is it listens to the words you say. So let's give you an example. You drive to work every day and you go, oh my God, this traffic is killing me. My boss is driving me crazy. My kids are making me go wild. I'm at my maximum bandwidth. Now, if you drive to work saying, this traffic is killing me, my boss is a nightmare, my job is driving me crazy, your brain starts to think, something is killing you, driving you crazy. Oh, it's your job. Well, better not go to that job anymore. But you seem to still go to that place that's killing you. Why don't I just make you sick? You never have to go there again. Why don't I give you an ulcer or migraines or panic attacks? And so the brain will start to do that. And if you ignore it, it just does it more and more. Who here has ever said to themselves, what I would give for a week in bed. I'm so overworked. I just want a week lying around, and your brain goes, leave that with me. And the next week you get the flu. Anyone done that? A really bad cold, because your mind listens. You want a week off in bed. Here's the flu, which is not what you wanted at all. And even if you say things like, I'm dreading next week. I told my boss that I would chair a meeting, and I wish I hadn't, and I'd give anything not to go. Your brain goes, I'll just make you so sick, you can't even leave the house. So if you haven't got what you want, it's because you're not giving your brain very good messages. So I want you to think about this. If there's anything in your life that you haven't got, being motivated, putting yourself first, believing in yourself, I promise you, it's because your brain thinks you don't want that at all. And if there are things you'd love to have that you haven't got, and if there are other things you have got, like procrastinating and not believing in yourself, your mind thinks actually you like those things. So you've got to be very careful how you dialogue with your brain. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But the most important thing is your mind does what it really, really, really thinks you want it to do, and it's always acting in your best interest, even when it's not in your best interest at all. So the best example I can think of is, let's imagine this is a classroom of children, and you've got to read a word out loud, and you're reading bridge, the word bridge, and you're like 6, and you get to bridge, and it's got a D in it, and you go bridge, and everyone in the class laughs, and goes, you can't even say the word bridge. And your mind starts to look at what's causing you this embarrassment, this stress. Oh, it's being in front of people. It's opening my mouth and speaking in front of an audience. Never do that again. And now you start to say things like, I'll never do that again. I'll never speak in public again. I'll never draw attention to myself again. And of course, you're 6. When you're 36, you've forgotten. And then you go to speak on stage, and a little voice in your head goes, oh, no, don't do that. Remember when you were 6? Or maybe it just says, don't do that. So your mind is acting off old information. And what happens is one of 3 things. Either you go, oh, no, I can't speak in public. Oh, I just can't do that, and you don't. Or you try very hard, but all the time you're anxious, you're nervous, you're taking beta blockers. Or the third way, you say to your brain, I want this, I've chosen this, I like this thrills me, this elates me, this delights me, this sets me on fire. And then your brain goes, really? Okay, well, that's very clear to me. So that's what will happen, and all the resistance goes away. But it's down to you to say that. I've chosen this. I've chosen to feel great about it. And I want you to remember this. It's very important. You can say whatever you like to yourself, because you have choice. You can say, that's killing me. That's a nightmare. That's a disaster. But you know what you can't choose? What happens to your body when you say, I'm at my maximum bandwidth. I'm dying under the stress. I'm falling apart under the pressure. So you can choose to say those words, but you can't choose what it does to your body. So why don't you choose to say, I love this, I like it, I've chosen it. And I'm going to give you a sentence that will change your life. I have chosen to do this, and I've chosen to feel great about it. So if you're building your own business and you're going to spend all weekend working on your website, you can choose to go, this is hell, this is so unfair, everyone else is out partying, I've got to work on this website all weekend and it's stressing me out. Or you can go, yay, this is great, this is my business, I want to work all weekend on my website. I'm choosing it, and I'm choosing to feel great about it. Because I promise you, your mind does not care if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It doesn't even care if it's true. It lets it all in. So let me show you how that works. So I want you all to just imagine that you're holding in your hand a big fat slice of lemon, just like this. So put your hand in front of your mouth, just like I'm doing. Put your hand right in front of your mouth right now. Look at the slice of lemon. Imagine you have that in your hand. Remember, your mind doesn't care if it's real or false. It will let it in. So close your eyes hold your big slice of lemon in front of your mouth. Open your mouth, keep your eyes closed, push that lemon into your mouth and start eating it. Suck out the juice, chew that lemon, start to swallow the flesh. Just do it. Because here's the thing, you don't want to see this and hear it, you want to do it. Seeing is believing. So eat the lemon, close your eyes and keep eating that lemon. And most of you will notice that as you even think about eating a lemon, what's happening? Well, you're pumping out saliva. Your mind's going, oh my God, you're eating a lemon. That's very acidic for your tooth enamel. Let's make lots of saliva to wash it away. So open your eyes. There's no lemon. Your mind doesn't care. And even doing that little test and maybe keeping a picture of a lemon on your desk will remind you, be very careful what you tell your mind. Tell it great things, you'll get great things. Let's do another one. Everybody stand up. And I want you to take your left arm and point it towards me. So now, I can't see all of you because of the light, but we're going to do this. So just practice not poking your neighbor in the eye. So when you're ready, everyone point your left arm towards me, and all you're going to do is this. You're going to push your arm as far back behind you as it will go. Do it now. And I want you to mark it. Mark exactly where your arm has gone to behind you. Just make a note. Bring it back. Drop your arm down. Close your eyes, and you're going to see how dialoguing with your mind works. So with your eyes closed, and you must keep your eyes closed, I want you to tell your arm to go a third further. I want you to say to your arm, when I repeat this exercise, you will go a third further. And now I want you to see all the muscles in your arm opening up like elastic, like cooked spaghetti. So again, tell your arm you will go a third further. See it going a third further. Open your eyes, put your arm out, look at your arm and say to your arm, you will go a third further. And now watch as it does just that. Take your arm behind you, knowing it's going to go a third further. And watch as it goes more than a third further, because you told it to. Let's do the other one. Right arm up. Push it behind you as far as it will go. Please make sure to mark how far your arm has gone. Bring it back. Drop your arm down. Close your eyes and talk to your arm. How crazy is that? You're going to talk to your arm, but it's going to do what you say. You can talk to any part of your body, your heart, your lungs, your metabolic rate, your stomach, your digestion, and tell it to work perfectly, and it will. Tell your arm, you will go a third further. You're super flexible. I'm like a rubber bendy doll with a flexible arm. See it going further. Open your eyes, look at your finger, and now tell it to go a third further. Tell your arm to go a third further. And just watch again as it goes a whole third further and beyond, because you told it to. And now take a seat. Now, you see, you can all be let off with saying, I didn't know that before. That's cool, but you know it now. So before, you could be allowed to say, I'm a loser, I can't remember anything, my mind's like a sieve. You can't say that anymore. From today, you know your mind does what you tell it to do. So don't go, if I look at that cake, I'll get fat. Say, my metabolism is so great, I burn it all off. I haven't had enough sleep, so I can't function. I can function on 5 hours sleep or 4 sometimes. Tell your brain better things and you will get a better life. So now you understand the first rule of the mind. Does what you tell it to. So you better tell it better stuff. Second thing of the mind, really simple. It responds to 2 things. The pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. If I was about to shove a needle in my arm right now and was going, oh, that needle's going to hurt, I'd have a different image to someone who's saying, well, you know, I'm a bodybuilder and I'm going to win Mr. Universe. Or if I was in real pain, I would welcome that needle because it would take the pain away. If I was a drug addict, I'd be absolutely thrilled to shove that in my arm. I wouldn't go or hurt. I would go, yay, I'm going to be off my head in 2 minutes. Bring it on. So you can choose all the time. Your mind responds to the pictures you make and the words you say. And if you change the pictures and change the words, it changes your entire life. And those words, I'm choosing to do this, I'm choosing to feel great about it, signal to your brain, oh, you have a choice, and you're making a choice, and you like the choice, so I don't have to bring up any resistance. If you say, I hate going to the gym, I hate living on lettuce, I hate working weekends, your brain goes, I'm going to stop that right now. But when you go, no, I love it, love it, love it, want it, want it, want it, chosen it, chosen it, chosen it, your brain goes, I'm going to fill you up with energy to go to the gym, and you can love lettuce if you want to or not. And the third thing about the mind, and it's the one that therapists find the most perplexing, is your mind loves what is familiar, doesn't really like what is unfamiliar. And you can't beat that, but you can work with it. So if you're brought up in a house where you never get praised and people go, well, you're rubbish, you're useless, no one's going to look at you. And then someone says, wow, I love that talk. You go, it's terrible. Didn't you notice I forgot the best bit? No, I didn't. Oh, yes, it was dreadful. I stuttered and it all went horribly wrong. So if praise is unfamiliar, when you praise people, they reject it. If you say to someone, I love that top, they go, I've had it for 5 years. It's got a hole in it. Because what's familiar is criticism. So not only do they reject the unfamiliar praise, they add in what's familiar, criticism. Now, if you want to have high self-esteem, there's one thing that will boost your self-esteem like nothing else, and that is praising yourself. You see, if I praised you and went, oh, yes, I love your outfit and I love your talk, and would you like my book? I've got an agenda. But when you say to yourself, I did a great job, I'm really good at my job, I've got a gift, I've got a skill, people like me, your brain lets it in just like that. But when you say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with life, I'm just a loser, it lets that in too. So today, I'm going to focus on making something really familiar, and that is knowing that you are enough. You know, I've been a therapist, amazingly, for 30 years, and it didn't take me long at all to work out that when people come in with a list, here's my list. I can't sleep, I'm anxious, I eat too much, I fight with my partner, I can't seem to control my kids, and I'm always getting into trouble at work. Can you fix my shopping list? They go, yeah, because I know what's behind your shopping list. You just don't think you're enough. So when I work with bulimics and compulsive shoppers and hoarders and drug addicts and alcoholics, I've never met an alcoholic or a drug addict yet in 30 years who ever thought that they're enough. And they always say, you know, I drink to forget. And bulimics eat a lot because of this space inside, this emptiness. And shopaholics and hoarders are trying to fill this emptiness here that says, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm just not enough. And I see that as a sickness. And I see clients come into my office every day and they all have the same thing. I just don't think I'm enough. I work with movie stars, Olympic athletes, rock stars, models. You know, we can look ourselves at the Amy Winehouses, the Whitney Houstons, the Heath Ledgers, Michael Jacksons. And they didn't die of drugs. They didn't die of alcohol. They died because they felt so not enough that they had to use substances to numb the pain. And you can't treat the alcoholism. You have to treat the feeling inside of I'm not enough. And I went to someone recently who was a chronic alcoholic and had never got married. He was 62. And he kept saying, yeah, but you know, if I wasn't an alcoholic, I could be married, but no woman would put up with how much I drink. And I'm like, no, you've got it the other way around. So I talked to him and he said that his parents didn't like him. He never had a birthday. They treated him as if he didn't matter. And when I asked him what was really the problem, he said, I have no love in my life. I've never had love in my life. No one has ever loved me. And I said, I can see that, but you know, it's never too late. You now have to fall in love with you. And you can have a relationship, you can have everything, because you're not an alcoholic, you just don't think you're enough. And I made him say, I'm enough, I'm enough. It was quite hard at first. He wouldn't say it. He cried. He got really upset. But then he began to go, I am enough. I've always been enough. And I said, every time you want to pick up the bottle, just go, I'm enough. I don't need that, because that doesn't make me feel enough. That makes me feel not enough. He never went to AA. He never took medication. He just stopped drinking overnight by saying, I'm enough and I don't need that. And if I drink that, does it take me towards being enough? No, it takes me away from it. And within a year, he was married. I went to his wedding, and it was a beautiful thing to see how just beginning to know that he was enough changed his life. So here's something else to consider about I'm enough. It's not unfamiliar. You might have made it, but does anyone know a baby that's born that says, I'm not enough? I better not wake up the house at 5 in the morning, because they don't like that. I better not ask for food. I better not throw up all over this clean white T-shirt because it might upset my mum. No, they don't care. Babies are born knowing they're enough, because when every single one of you was born, let me tell you what happened. Your mum looked at you, your dad looked at you, the doctor looked at you, the nurse looked at you, people came to look at you and went, oh, this baby's perfect. 5 fingers, 5 toes, 2 eyes and ears. And when your mother pushed you along in the stroller and someone went, oh, what a cute baby, you didn't go, don't look at me. I'm having a really bad day today. I've got milk spots, and my hair's a mess, and I've just thrown up, and I've got a full diaper. Babies don't do that. You look in the pram, and they kick their little legs, and they smile that gummy smile and go, another person celebrating me. And no one in this room didn't do that. No baby says, oh, I ate a cookie, I better run around the nursery for 3 hours because I'm so bad. No baby says, today I'm going to try really hard not to eat and be perfect, because they think they are perfect. You know, babies have no problem leaving food. Even if you give them chocolate, when they've had enough, they just stop. So I'm enough. It isn't actually unfamiliar. You've made it unfamiliar, but when you were born, it was a massive part of who you are. Do you ever meet a baby that says, I just can't get to grips with this walking. I think I'm going to quit. I keep falling over, or, you know, every time I try to eat a banana, I seem to put it in my ear and in my hair, so I think I'm just going to stop trying to feed myself. No, they just keep going because of the knowing that they're enough. Unfortunately, it does start to go away. We have teachers that say, oh, you know, everyone else in the class can write their name. Why can't you? We have parents that go, well, your brother, he can ride a bike, and your sister, she doesn't make a mess when she eats, and your cousin, they're really good at reading. And so we start to compare ourselves, and it's a terrible thing. But if you knew that you were born knowing that you're enough, and all you had to do was put back what was already there, then your life would change. So I'm going to tell you a story. So many years ago, I was in LA, and I was working on a show, and my producer rang me and said, could you please go to Beverly Hills, because we have this major movie star who's falling apart, and if he doesn't turn up on the set tomorrow, it costs $10,000 a minute to film this show, and if he doesn't turn up, we're royally screwed. And you seem to be able to handle these people, so could you go and see him? I'm like, sure. And they said, now, what kind of car have you got? So I've got a red Mustang. It was a really cool convertible. I went, oh, no. You cannot put that on his driveway because he can only have Jaguars, thank you, or Porsches. So I'm like, okay. So I've got I thought it was a rather lovely Mustang. I drove along to this big, massive, amazing mansion in Beverly Hills, and I hid my little inferior car around the corner. I couldn't even put it outside his house. And I rang the bell, and he opened the door. Most movie stars don't, but he opened the door, and he went, I don't know why you're here. I don't know why they sent some Brit to fix me. Do you know I've been in every rehab, every clinic, I've seen every therapist in LA, and no one can help me. Well, that's an interesting belief. I said, oh, I can help you. Anyway, we walked into this amazing house, and I said, wow, I love your house. He went, oh, I hate this house. My neighbors are hell. There's that word. And I'm moving. And then he said to me, you know, you look a bit like my 4th wife. I said, thank you. He said, don't thank me. He said, she was the biggest disappointment in my life. Okay, so he's had 4 wives. They've all disappointed him. Hates his house. Can't have anything except a Porsche on the drive. And then we go into the den, and he's got a BAFTA, which is the equivalent of an Oscar. And I'm like, oh, you have a BAFTA? He said, that's a curse. Do you know what that is like? getting a BAFTA. He said, every time I make a film, I've got to get another BAFTA, and it's now a curse to me. But I wish I'd never got it, because I just feel this pressure all the time, because I'm a BAFTA-winning actor. And I went, oh, I know what's wrong with you. He went, no, you don't. I said, I do. I know exactly what's wrong with you. He said, what is it then? I said, well, you just don't think you're good enough, do you? And he said, really? Is that true? I'm like, come on, you know it's true. 4 wives that disappointed you, this incredible house that you hate, the Ferrari on the drive, the BAFTA is a curse. He was very overweight too, and I said, it's you. If I was a doctor, I'd go, okay, I'm a doctor, I'm diagnosing you right now. This is your illness. You don't think you're enough. Would you like a cure? Here's my prescription. Tell yourself you're enough. But first, tell me a bit about your life. He said, well, I was raised in a trailer park. We had no money. My mum was a nurse, but she worked at nights because she got more money. My dad was in construction. And of course, in the winter, often when it snowed, there was no work. And I used to make my dad's dinners because my mum was working nights. And he had a construction worker's dinner, meat, potatoes, vegetables. And I had bread and milk. Every night, bread and milk. But I cooked this dinner for my dad, and I never got it. And I said, well, did he share it? He went, are you kidding? My dad gave the leftovers to the dog right in front of me to show me that that's what I was. And I went, well, that's where it's come from. Let's look at this little boy. Mum's working nights, and all a child can think is, if my mum loved me, she'd be here. She prefers work, because they haven't got the intellect at 5 to work out what's going on. A child can only think one thing: my mum isn't here, I don't have a dad, we don't have money. Why is that? Oh, it's because I'm not lovable enough. Otherwise, we'd have money, and my mum would be here, and my dad would be nice. My dad prefers the dog because I'm not enough. All children turn it inside, because if a child works out and the parents are not very good, that's too scary, so they blame themselves. I said, okay, so you can see where this comes from. Mum's not there, dad likes the dog, you get inferior food, you live in a trailer, and you think you're not enough. And that's why you've become famous, by the way, because you believed if you're a famous actor, everybody would love you. And finally, you'd think you're enough. But it doesn't work, because everyone does love you, including the 4 wives, but you don't love you. And the voice in your head is, I'm not enough. I said, so let's fix it. So he happened to hoard a lot of stuff too, classic symptom of someone who thinks they're not enough. And having had 4 wives, he had a lot of lipstick in his house, a lot of eyeliner, luckily for me. So we went around and I wrote it on his mirrors, I am enough, all over his house. It was a big house too. And I took his phone and I put on his phone alerts, I am enough. And it pinged every morning. And it pinged every night. And I said, look, you can write it on your hand, write it on your T-shirt, write it on a cushion. I want you to say every morning, I'm enough, especially in the shower. What else are you going to say in there? I've run out of conditioner. You might as well take that time, we all shower every day, to say, I'm enough. Wire it into a habit and write it on your bathroom. So as you clean your teeth, you go, oh, there's that thing. I'm enough. I'm enough, I'm enough. I said, you must say it over and over again, because you're going to make what is unfamiliar, knowing you're enough, so familiar that it stops being what you say and it becomes who you are. So he promised he would do it. It was better for him. He'd done all those other things. Anyway, weeks passed. I was working on my own show. He was working on his show. And I was walking to my trailer. I was like walking along. And I saw a man only about as far ahead of me as that chair. And as he got closer, first he undid his pants, then he undid his shirt. I'm like, wow, is this guy going to flash me on a movie lot in Beverly Hills? Where's security? But then I realized it was him. And he went, look, I've got so thin. I got a six-pack. I've got a flat stomach. Because I say I'm enough. He said, you know what's amazing is I stopped eating donuts. I stopped binging. I just say I'm enough every day, and I seem to have fallen in love with my body, and I've stopped abusing it. I said, well, that's happened. He went, no, but guess what else? I'm like, what? He said, I've sold the Porsche, and I've got a Mini, because I'm not a fat, cranky bastard anymore, and I don't need it. I said, and he said, and guess what else? I'm going out with a hairdresser. He said, I've never had a girlfriend that wasn't a model or an actress. He said, it's so normal. I'm just happy. Who would have thought those 3 words would change my entire life? I said, well, they do that. Their strength is in their simplicity. It heals your soul. When most of us wake up and go, I'm a goddess, your brain goes, you're not a goddess. You've got cellulite. And what should be up here is actually down here. So I don't really think you're a goddess. But it's you saying that. When you drive around town going, hey, yeah, I'm a rock star, I got my rock moves, your brain goes, but you're driving a car that's 15 years old and you share an apartment. You're not really a rock star, come on. But when you say, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, your brain goes, of course you are. That's how you were born. Why wouldn't you be? And so for him, it really healed his soul. There's nothing that I'm enough can't heal. It was so simple, but his mind let it in. So anyway, many, many months passed, and he called me, and he said, hello, it's me. Guess where I am? I said, I honestly don't know. He said, well, I'm in Iceland, and I'm fishing, and guess what else? I said, tell me. He said, I'm happy. I've never been so happy in my entire life. I'm just sitting with a fishing rod in a freezing cold place, and I'm so happy. And I said, well, good. And, you know, some of you here might go, you know, I know this. I've seen your YouTube. I've read your book. I know about I'm Enough. But I want to ask you something else. What about your children? What about your parents? Or the people you're with? What about your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend? What about other people's children that you influence? You know, I'm Enough isn't just for you. And everybody here says, I'd love to change the world, but that's really a big ask. Changing the world? I change people just one heart and one soul at a time. And I change them because I live I'm Enough. I say it in the shower every day. I don't go, oh, I'm getting a bit old, or oh, this isn't quite the body I had 10 years ago. I just say I'm enough all the time, and I feel it. And I have it in all the mirrors in my house. So a couple of years ago, a plumber came to see me, and he went, why have you got that written on your walls? I said, well, you know, it's my philosophy. I really think that if every person thought they're enough, their children would go to school knowing they're enough, and those children wouldn't bully, and they wouldn't get bullied. So it's my philosophy. And he went, oh, well, you know, I've just got married and moved to a little village, and my son is really unhappy, really, really unhappy, and he's very angry. I've got a really angry kid. So shall I go home and write that on his mirror? I'm like, no, because you're dorky dad. But put it on the fridge, put it downstairs, write it downstairs and pretend it's for you. And he will see it and he'll let it in. It will happen quite quickly if you have it all over the house. Anyway, I must be the only person in England whose plumber couldn't wait to come back, got the part, and didn't even overcharge me, because he said, oh my God, it's changed my life. He said, my son, he said, he's still a nerd. He's a happy nerd. And he's got some happy, nerdy friends, and he's got a little happy, nerdy club, and he's so different. He said, but my wife, who was going through the menopause, is also completely different. She's happy too, because it's on the fridge, and every day at breakfast, we all think it. And I loved that. You know, I wrote that on my mirror. It affected my plumber. It affected my plumber's wife. It affected my plumber's son. And my plumber said, do you think when I'm fixing someone's bathroom, should I write it on their mirror? I said, one day, possibly not quite yet, but soon the movement will gather momentum and it will be on everybody's mirror. And so I want you to do this not just for you, but for all the people around you. I have many, many teachers who write to me and say, you know, I studied with you, and now I say, I'm enough in front of the class. Every day our whole class stand up and say, I'm enough. I will always be enough. I have many doctors who say the same thing. I have a few mental hospitals who say, you know, we've now got that all around the walls, and we encourage the patients to say it because it seems to empower them. So let's all do it now. I want you all to say out loud, in your own language, I don't mind. I want you to go, I am enough. And I want you to say it like you really mean it. I want to really hear it, because we're going to keep doing this till I feel you've really got it. I'm enough. I have always been enough. And I always will be enough. And now that I know that I'm enough, everybody knows it too. You see, here's the thing about I'm enough. When you know that you're enough, you don't have to try to make someone like you. You know, with so many women who go, I want to find a great guy, so I'm going to get my hair done and my nails done, and I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to get a great outfit, and I'm going to get everything waxed off, and I'm going to spend a fortune. And you don't have to do any of that. You just have to go, hey, I'm enough. I'm a great person. I deserve love. I'm worthy of it. I know I'm enough. He will too. And believe me, I will work with a lot of models who've got everything waxed off, and they look amazing, and they're not happy because they don't feel good enough, because they're on a race with no finishing line. You know, people who try to be perfect are, without question, the unhappiest people in the world, because there's a finishing line. It says, run towards that. Oh, I'm just going to move it over there. I'm going to move it over there. It's gone over there now. And they can never win that race because they can't even complete it. And I see sometimes men who go, you know, I want to find a great girl, so I'm going to act like I've got more money and rent a great car and pretend. Don't pretend, just be you. You're enough. And you know, when you know that you're enough, you do better at work. The people that employ you know that you're enough. The people that work with you know that you're enough. And some people say, but surely if I know I'm enough, I'm going to lie on the couch and eat potato chips all night. No, quite the opposite. When you know you're enough, you are inspired to go out there and get the life that you should have. You can actually ask for more money because you know you're enough. You can go for a better job. You can take that interview you thought you couldn't have. You can get your own startup and get customers to fall in love with your product if you know that you're enough. You can stay in the same relationship. Instead of trying to make other people like you and believe in you, all you have to do is like you and believe in you. And after all, that's how you were born. Babies are like puppies. They run up and go, hey, here I am. Do you want to celebrate me? If you kick them enough, they go and hide behind the fridge and go, actually, I don't think you like me after all. Puppies, kittens, babies, they know they're enough. And unfortunately, schools and many parents do a really bad job of making us feel we're not enough. So let me just quickly recap how your mind works and put it into I'm enough. Your mind does what you tell it to do. Tell it I'm enough. I can go to that interview and be phenomenal because I'm enough. I can get a pay rise because I'm enough. I can present the case for what I have to offer. I can really find my unique skill set. I can find love and keep it forever because I know I'm enough. Now, when you tell your brain that, giving it a very clear picture to work towards, your mind is like a missile. It will go towards the pictures in your head. And of course, the wonderful thing about the mind is two things, that as you move towards your potential, guess what happens? It moves, and it moves again. And none of you in this room could have any idea of what your potential is because it expands as you move towards it. And once it expands, it never goes back. You know, I was the most insecure kid. I thought I was hideously ugly. I thought I was stupid. I couldn't have even, in my wildest dreams, imagined standing on a stage, loving it, and talking to people like they were all my best friends. But I began to tell my mind what I wanted. And I started with I'm enough. And of course, the pictures I have in my head are I'm enough. The words I say are I'm enough. Your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. When you're going, I'm a loser, I'm stupid, I'm not successful enough. You can't have that picture when you're going, I'm enough, I've got a skill, I was born enough, I will die enough. I'm not the weight on the scales or the inches on the tape measure. I'm not the figures in my bank account. I'm not the figures of my age. I'm not the labels I'm wearing. I am enough. So you see the pictures in your head are changing. The words are good. Your mind understands that what you want is to know you're enough with such unshakable conviction that everyone else knows it too. And finally, what are you making familiar? I know I'm enough. And as I know it, everyone else knows it. And if they don't, well, that's not my problem. I know it. And what are you making unfamiliar? I don't think I'm enough. I couldn't possibly do that, go there, ask for that. So remember, your mind loves what is familiar. But you know what? None of us are running around in diapers anymore, so we clearly made that unfamiliar. We will manage to feed ourselves. So you can make anything familiar if you choose. Choose to make I am enough familiar. So let's say it a few more times until I know that you're familiar with it. Because if you do something enough, one more time, I'm enough. I want you to shout it out. Louder. And louder still. I've always been enough. Until the day I die, I will always be enough. Because that's who I am. I'm enough. So thank you for listening. And here's one more thing to make familiar. Don't listen to this stuff and go home and go, that was interesting. Do it. Take action. Remember what Lisa said. Take action. Make it happen. Don't go, well, that was amazing, and I really liked that. Write it on your mirror. Put it on your phone alerts right now in this room. So every morning and night at 7 or 8, it pings with I'm enough. Make it your phone wallpaper. Write it on your cushions. Write it all over your house. Put it on your fridge. Don't hear this. Do it. Because if you want your life to change, this will change your life. We know that we should have dreams. Some people say, but I need to have reasonable ones. I don't want to be disappointed. I'm just going to have a little goal, a little dream, and then maybe I can get it. And if I don't, I won't be disappointed. You know what? You will. Here's why. Your potential expands as you move towards it. You cannot know. None of us can know what our potential is, because as we move towards our potential, it moves and it moves and it moves. And that's a great thing to know. Oh, I don't know what my potential is. As I get to it, it expands. Yes, it does. And here's a wonderful thing. When your mind expands to a new dimension, it never, ever, ever goes back. It keeps going forwards. I used to work with prisoners, and they'd say things like, I just want to get out. And if I get out, I could just have a little tiny studio apartment and just a job stacking shelves. That's all I want. But then a year later, they go, well, you know, this apartment's too small. I need a separate bedroom. I want people to come and stay. I need 2 bedrooms. And it doesn't challenge me to stack shelves. I need something more. And we see that in the Olympic world, where Mark Spitz in the 80s won so many medals. He was RoboCop. He was amazing. He was a machine, winning all those medals and breaking records. And now, you know what? You can't get into the swimming team swimming at the speed he swam at. It's no longer good enough. Because when he moved to that potential and broke records, people followed him. When Roger Bannister ran a mile in under 4 minutes, that same year, 27 more people did it too. Before that, it wasn't even possible. And athletes show us our potential. People who do amazing things show us, wow, I'm a human. I could sing like that, soar like that, jump like that. And even if I can't, I'm going to celebrate another human being soaring towards a potential I didn't even know existed. So why should you dream big? Because your mind expands to new dimensions. I mean, people say, you know, I've learned to manifest. It's amazing. I manifest parking spaces. How cool is that? I know, it's very cool. I do that too. In central London, I will always find a parking space because I tell my mind I'll find it. But if I could do that, why would I stop at a parking space? Expand to bigger, better things. You know, you have a universal brain. As you think, someone else is thinking your thoughts. We see how birds fly and fish swim, and they have a universal brain. Birds fly as a big bird, fish swim as a big fish. And one doesn't go, hey, I'll be the tail, you be the fin. They just move together. And there's a universal brain. That means as you think about inventing something, someone in the world is thinking about it too. The day I began to think about writing a book, I went to a dinner party and I sat next to an editor. That wasn't a fluke, because when you expand your mind to new dimensions, all kinds of things happen to meet your expectations. They all stem from the belief, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a play, I'm going to do something, produce something. So if you're going to have dreams and goals, make them big. You know that expression, reach for the moon, you'll probably have the stars. Reach higher, dream bigger. Dream bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't dream small. If you have a gift for making things happen, don't think, well, I'm just going to visualize that meeting being cancelled. I don't want to go. I'm dreading going, oh, look, I thought that thought and they cancelled it. Yay. How about thinking, well, if I can think that, if I have that much power, why don't I visualize the meeting being amazing and phenomenal and productive and amazing? You see, many people stop with their dream. I want to find love. That's a nice dream. I'm going to find love. For how long? An hour? An afternoon? A night? How about for the rest of your life? How about finding the most amazing love? You know, I had a friend. We used to live in Notting Hill. Notting Hill has a lot of rock stars. And in her road was a rock star. And she used to sing this song, I want that man. It was a big hit at the time. And she said, I want him, I want him, I want him in my bed, I want him. And what happened is, one day he got a bit drunk and he rang the wrong doorbell. She opened the door and there he was. And he was in her bed and they had a wonderful time and she never saw him again. I'm like, but why did you stop at that? You manifested him, you dreamt of him and he turned up. You could have had him forever if you dreamt bigger. We're going to meet, our hearts and souls are going to collide. He's going to see that I'm the most amazing woman in the whole world for him. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives. We're going to grow in love. He's my soulmate. You saw him, you connected with him at some level. He turned up on your doorstep and he left after one night because you didn't dream a big enough dream. I want more money. Hang on a minute. I might have $10 in my pocket. Is that? No, that's not my dream. Well, make your dream specific. I want $1 million. And by the way, what do you want it for? Well, I'm going to create a product. I'm going to make something. I'm going to monetize. I'm going to do something. And when I get that $1 million, I'm going to help more people, employ people, give more people help. Because the bigger you make your dream, the more you will manifest it. If you want to be an Olympic athlete, that's a big dream. Going to go to the Olympics, break a world record, but you have to go out and train and practice and do stuff. But if you have a dream that's big, you can go towards it. And when Whoopi Goldberg won an Oscar and held it up, she said, for every little black kid in the projects, dream big. Don't ever let someone say you can't do that. When someone said to Danny DeVito, Danny, you'll never be a movie star, I went, I will. When someone said to Naomi Campbell, black girls don't get on the cover of Vogue, that door shut, she went, I'll kick it open. And I love that about her because she said, no, you are not going to stop my dream. I got very ill in the middle of my career and my doctor said, you know, you can't go to Costa Rica and give this talk. I said, no, that's my dream. He said, well, you can't fly. I won't go on a boat. I don't care how long it takes. I am not giving up my dream. I'm going, no matter what it takes. I'll go by boat. And train like if it takes me a week, I am going. Nearly went, you know what? I'm going to let you go. I'm going to sign you off because you're so determined. But the determination to follow my dream made me fight a very tough illness. And I bounced back from that because I would not allow it to interfere with my dream, not even for a week. A week after I had a surgery, I was back on stage and speaking with Richard Bandler, having a great time because I had a dream. And my mind was like a missile. It's always moving towards that dream. And it was exciting. It was challenging. So dream big dreams. You are just as likely to make a big dream come true as a little one. If you can make a little one come true, I wanted more money and I found $20 in the street. I wanted love and I found someone for a night. I wanted to be pregnant and I got pregnant. I didn't have a baby. See, that's a classic example of a dream not being correct. People say to me, I just want to be pregnant. I'm like, no, you don't. I do. You don't. They go, I do. I go, no, no, no. You want to conceive and carry and grow and deliver a perfect baby. You could be pregnant 10 times without a baby. That's not your dream. That's just the beginning. So if you want a baby, don't go, I want to be pregnant. Go, I want to conceive, carry to full term, grow a perfect, thriving baby. I want to deliver an amazing, healthy baby. I want to have an amazing relationship with this child. And I want to grow an amazing new human being. Because your mind goes, oh, I get that. I can see that dream. But I thought you just wanted to be pregnant. No. You see, you've got to be very specific. Because my dreams don't come true. It shouldn't even be a dream. You see, when you go, I dream of finding love, I wish for love, I long for love, I hope for love, your mind goes, well, keep dreaming, keep hoping, keep wishing. When you go, no, I will go out and find it. I am not going to sit on the sofa watching TV. I'm going out to find love. I'm going to believe I'm worth it, and then I'm going to put myself in front of the kind of person I want to be with, and then I'm going to find one. You see, I'm at work with women who go, I want love, and I go to yoga every day. Well, there's no men in yoga. Maybe there's one, but there's 35 women. If you want a guy, you've got to go to the weights class or the car wash or a poker school or a golf club. If you're a guy and you want to find a woman, you should go to yoga because there's not many men there. You should get out of the weights and go to the yoga. So you have to be proactive with your dream. I want to be a published author or a speaker. Well, go to Toastmasters, learn to speak. When I wanted to write a book, I wrote an article for my daughter's school magazine. It was the first time I wrote anything, and they loved it. And that led me to going to that dinner, which led me to sitting next to the publisher, which led me to getting a book deal. But I didn't have the courage to write till I wrote a very small article for a magazine. But that was always my step. I didn't go, oh, I've written an article, now I can sit back at home with the potato chips and the TV. That was my step to be bigger, bigger, bigger. Dream big dreams, but don't make them dreams. Make them goals. Make them stretch you, demand more of you, and know you are worth it. You can have a goal, write it out, create a mood board. If you have a dream or a goal and you create a mood board and you look at it every day, it wires it into your mind. And finally, get a peer group. When I was writing a book, I decided I needed to put on a talk to get publishers there. And I told my peer group, next month I'm putting on this talk. Because I said it, I could think, oh, you know what? I do that in 2 months. I do it next year. I'd committed in front of a group of people called peers, funnily enough. I'm a peer. But I committed to putting on that talk. I put on that talk. Google were there. HarperCollins turned up. I got a massive book deal. I almost cancelled it. But I kept going because I had committed. If I hadn't committed, I wouldn't have done it. When you commit to a group to doing something, your chance of doing it goes up by a whopping 80%. Find your own peer group. Commit. I'm going to take action. Taking small actions and big actions every day in the direction of your goals takes you towards your goal like a laser. So think of your goal or your dream, and instead of dreaming, take action, little actions, big actions every single day. When I wanted to be a known therapist, I would ring up a magazine or a newspaper and ask them, hey, I just saw you had an article there on firewalking, but would you like to write an article on proper hypnosis for athletes? Because that's what firewalking really is. And most of them said yes. Some said no. Oh, who are you? No, thank you. But I kept going. That was my goal. Every day, make one phone call, send one email. If you get a rejection, come back. I remember vividly that sound, thump, when the manuscript hit my carpet in my hall, because they only send them back where they don't like them. And I heard that sound a lot. My manuscript came back. And it came back and it came back. And I remember J.K. Rowling saying every time it came back, she repuzzled and sent it to someone else. Didn't stop to think, didn't have time to cry, just get that back in an envelope, send it to another publisher. and I did the same. She made publishing history, but I got my books published because I kept going. My dream is to be published. You might reject me, but I'll find someone else who doesn't. When a director said to Meryl Streep, Meryl, you are not beautiful enough to be an actress. She said, you know what, that's your opinion. In a sea of opinions, I think I'll find another opinion. Don't let anyone burst your bubble, diminish your dreams. The most successful who got rejected, John Lennon, Eminem, One Direction, the Beatles, so many people. Einstein was told he was educationally subnormal. John Lennon was told he was on the road to nowhere. Harry Potter got rejected by several publishers, but that didn't matter. Keep dreaming your dream, but make it a goal. Take steps, take action, believe in yourself, keep going, and dream bigger, better dreams. Remember, when your mind expands to a new dimension, it cannot, will not, does not go back. And when you move towards your potential, it moves and it moves and it moves. Beyonce was in a band once, and here she is. She's made it all on her own. Robbie Williams got fired from Take That, and here he is. Piers Morgan got fired as the editor of a newspaper, and here he is. Some of the most successful people got fired, got dumped, got rejected, but they held on to their goal. You can too. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Goals give you direction. Without them, you drift. With goals, you have purpose, direction, meaning, and intent. You're like a missile going forwards. And without goals, you flounder. So people who have goals always do better in monetary terms, relationship terms, and happiness terms. Join that club. This is something I recommend you do every new year, or indeed every birthday, maybe at the start of a new season. You see, you've all heard of a vision board. A vision board is a lovely board where you put up pictures, and that's great, except I find that people get so hung up with making it perfect. I've cut everything out, it's all neat, I put the glass on top, and now I want to add something, and I'm going to have to take it all apart, and I just can't be bothered. I'm away for weeks on end, and I forget to look at my vision board, and here's the biggie. Yeah, my vision board has got wedding dresses and Tiffany rings, and if I brought someone home and they saw that, wow, isn't that the quickest way to put someone off? I live in an apartment with other girls or guys, or I live at home with my parents. I don't want them to know what my wildest dreams are in case they laugh at me, in case they say, well, that will never happen. So a vision board is quite a public thing if you have other people in your home. A vision book is amazing. For me, a vision book is the best thing. I have something like this. It actually says on it, Eventual Millionaire. Somebody gave me that. I love that. And I can take this with me everywhere I go. So I'm going to show you how to use a vision book, but actually my favorite way is to have a vision folder, because you see how you can clip pictures into here. And the great thing about a vision folder is that you can add to it. When you've achieved one vision, you can take it out or maybe put it to the back. So there are many ways of having a vision folder, but something like this is great. I love this. I love this. This I would take on a plane. I'm on a plane, I'm looking at magazines. No, I want to go there. And on a plane, you can rip out so many pictures and stuff them in your vision book. You can use blue tack or tape or pins or staples. But this is also a great idea. So let's go through a vision book. Now I'm going to start with a thing that women are a bit embarrassed about. I want to get married. I want someone to give me these. I want to have a lovely ring like that. So if that's what you want, all you have to do is to put these in your vision book. And please don't get into the thing about, oh, they've got to be super tidy and all neat. No, they don't. You can cram them in when you're on a plane or reading at work, and then you can go back later and change them. So that's a kind of haphazard first page of my vision book, and I would have that. So imagine you're on a plane or a train or somewhere where you read magazines, or you're in a hotel, or you're somewhere. maybe staying with friends and you got some time on your hands. So what you can do is take something that is a section. So this is about love, and you see I don't just cut out pictures, I cut out words. Love, share the love, balance, happiness and harmony. And I'm going to put all of these into this one little folder. And if I had more time, I would, well, maybe I can take a bit of tape and just stick that across the top and stick that. And I want you to notice I am not making this super neat. I'm not going to spend ages making it all look perfect because life isn't perfect, but now I've got that. And that can be a page in my vision book. So let's clip that in. So now I've got a page about love. Now I want to have a page about something that's really important to me, which is health. So you don't need all of this. You just need a few pictures of healthy eating. So here's a great one. And you see, when you look at an image of something healthy every day and go, that's me, I want that, I'm creating that, I'm eating proper food, I'm buying ingredients like avocados and oily fish, maybe not if you're a vegan. And don't forget to use the other side as well. So you can get a lot of stuff in when you do it this way. Take that one out and put that one in here. So now I've got another page, and what I would do is I would stick a post-it note in here, write on it, I eat super healthy food. It's who I am. Remember, when you say it's who I am, rather like a vegan, they never wander away from their mission, their goal, their purpose, their passion to eat plant-based food. So when you've got all your pictures in your book of all the kind of yummy food you're going to eat, you can use post-it notes or just a bit of colored tape and write on it, I am a healthy eater, always. So again, don't get too hung up on it. I want you to stick loads of little notes. This is who I am. I love eating fish and vegetables. I buy ingredients and not food. Little notes to yourself, but the biggest thing is this is who I am. This is me. And when you look at it every day and go, yeah, that's who I am. I'm a loving person. I eat healthy food. So let's do another one. And this time I'm going to pick one about work. So maybe it's something really simple, like I want to have an office in my house and I've got so concerned with I haven't got big enough space, but I can have something like that at the end of my room. Maybe I can have it in my kitchen, maybe I can have it in the hallway. It doesn't really matter. If you've got a place with some Wi-Fi where you can work, that's good enough. So maybe I would have that, and then I'd write on it something like, I work from home super productively. I love having a home office. This home office makes me work weekends and evenings. I love getting up and working from home. I'm super organized. Really, it can be whatever you want it to be. I haven't even written on it, but I could. I am inspired working at home. Obviously, I'm not inspired. I need my friends. I need the routine. I need to go to work. I met people who said I have to rent a separate apartment to write in. I can't write in my house. For me, it's like, wow. I would hate that, walking, driving to another place to write. I like to write at home, maybe a few hours at night when everyone's gone to bed, maybe first thing in the morning, maybe any time. But we're all different. I'm inspired when I work at home. And then maybe if I had a belief that working from home was lonely, I would put lots of pictures in about working with colleagues. You know, this has to be what works for you, but you can find pictures of working from home and being fulfilled, being happy, having meetings. So I love working from home. I put it on the wrong side. Doesn't matter, because I'm now going to fill in the front of this with something completely different. I'm going to put in how I want to be. I might want to go to Pilates. Maybe I want to do yoga. Maybe I want to have a body like that. These are very female. Sorry guys, but we can find some for you too. So now I've got another one, and this is all about way more than the kind of body I want to have. This is about the actions I'm going to take. I want to exercise every day. Imagine you've made this book and there's a picture of you doing yoga, doing the crunch in your house, doing some Pilates, walking, running, whatever it is you do. And imagine you look at that and go, this is me. So again, another piece of paper, stick that on there. Working out is part of my day. I love it. And remember, what's so great about a vision book is you can go, no, that doesn't resonate. Well, rip it off. Take it off and put another one on. It's not like having a beautiful vision board with glass on front. You go, I don't want to disturb that. But with the beautiful vision board, I would write all over that too. So now you've got, we haven't even finished yet, you've got the kind of exercise you do, the kind of office you have in your house. It can be just a simple desk. The kind of food you eat, the kind of love you have in your life. Let's do another one. What else is super important to people? Well, travel is so important to most people. And I now, whenever I see an image of a place I want to go, I rip it out because I think, oh, where was that place? If I see somewhere I want to go, I cut out the picture, I make some notes, I put it in my vision board and I say, I am going there, I am staying there. So I'm going to do this in a very messy way, because life is a bit messy. I quite like the messy. I'm going to stick more pictures in, even at different angles. And here's another one. That's going to go on the other side. And of course you're going to do this a little bit better than this. But I didn't want to spend ages cutting it all out perfect and going, hey, look, it's all perfect, because life isn't perfect and we don't have a lot of time. Here's another piece of paper. I might say, I go to Vietnam. That's a place I do really actually want to go to. I visit Vietnam. I spend time in Vietnam. So now you got a little picture of traveling, and by all means put lots of stickers. I go on the Eurostar. I go to Europe. I go to Iceland. It doesn't matter where you go. Have some pictures. And on the other side, and do the thing that is very, very important. We did it already, but I'm going to do something else about family. If you want a family, put in a great picture of a family. Every time people say, where should you go for a holiday? I go, let me look at my vision book. I've got some visions in there where I really want to go. And it's so important that I have a family. Remember, your family can be you, your friends, and your pets. It doesn't have to be mum, dad, and kids. It could be mum, mum, kids, dad, dad, kids. It can be you, your friends, your stepchildren, your godchildren. It can be anyone. But the idea of family, and by all means put pets in there, because they are family. And then, super important, do I want to be a healthy person, a fit person? Do I want to treat my body with respect? Do I want to remember, if you don't use it, you lose it? And every day I look at this and it makes me get up and at least do a few crunches, the plank, a few push-ups, because I'm committed. After all, I've written here, this is who I am. Exercise is part of my daily life every day. Every day. Can be just for 5 minutes. And then I've got this home office, and that for me would be really exciting. Wow. Just need a little desk. I don't need all of that. I need a little desk, a place for a laptop and a light and books, and maybe I can have my pens and papers. I'm really excited about I can create this in my kitchen, in my bed. I can put it in my hall. I'm excited about creating an office. And what have I written? I am inspired. I'm on fire when I work at home. Of course, when I work in the office too, but working at home inspires me. I get so much out of my day because I work at home. This is how I eat, because this is who I am. And then we've gone back to the relationship, and I share the love. I have friends, I have balance. So this is really your vision book, and you don't have to do what I've done. You can do it in any order. You can say, you know what? I really want to work more on this working from home. I want to work more on attracting love. You see, when you look at this, as you look at it, your mind is fired by what you want. What you want wants you. What you are moving towards is moving towards you. 80%, yeah, 80% of people who use a vision book or a vision board say, it changed me. I've told you about my vision board. I had it above my bed. I wanted to get married. I wanted to go to Africa. And here's a picture of my wedding. It was such a load. Here's a picture of me in Africa holding a lion. That had been raised from a cub with a family, and it lived there, and it was amazing. But I made these come true. I had that vision in my mind. I held that vision. I'm getting married. I'm going on safari. And you're never given a vision without an idea of making it real, because what you want wants you. What you are moving towards is moving towards you. If you have a vision or a dream or a wish inside you, get it out of you. Put it on paper, look at it, touch it, read it. Then you are making it real. When you can look at your vision, write all over your vision. Write on it, change it, mix it up. It's not a dream. You're making it real. Your potential expands as you move towards it. This will expand your potential. When you move your mind to a new dimension, it never moves back. Never write, I wish, I dream. Write, I am, I do, I can, I will, I always. I always exercise. I can fit exercise into my life. I am a fit person. I always pick healthy food. I can find healthy food wherever I go. I'm the kind of person that makes eating well a master priority. I can, I do, I am, I always. Inspire your mind. Turn it on with exciting words. Turn it on with exciting images. So here's a vision folder. I love my vision book, but it does mean that when you've stuck things on the page, you can't really clip them in and out. But I love it because it's small. I can get it out. It's portable, which is super important. It's private. That's very important. I can tuck this away. No visitors can see pictures of weddings or babies or pregnancy sticks that I've written on them, pregnant. No one's going to see that unless I want them to. The other thing about this vision book is it makes you accountable. As you look every day at the pictures of someone doing yoga or eating fruit, you think, well, I better stop looking at that and start doing it. Every day as you look at pictures of somebody working from home, socializing, looking after their body, horse riding, hiking, making salads, as you look at it enough, you become inspired to take action. It motivates you, it inspires you, it fills up your mind with what you want, and it fills you up with a desire, a passion. It motivates you, conditions you, programs you, compels you to go after what you want. It holds you accountable, and it's so easy. So don't make it perfect. This new year, decide this is the best New Year's resolution. Every New Year's Day, I will make a vision book. Every birthday, I'll make a vision book. At the end of every summer, when winter draws in and I'm home more, I'll work on a vision book. It will be the best thing you ever did. Businesses that use vision books say it dramatically improves productivity. Kids that make them say, well, it's wonderful. I'm moving towards that vision because it's not a goal or a dream or a wish or a fantasy. It is a vision. And everything I put in my vision book came true. And it came true very quickly. But I still have vision books. I still remember, okay, I'm writing another book. There's something else I'm going to do, because your potential expands as you move towards it. So make a vision book, keep it with you, clip in pictures, have a little envelope at the back of the vision book, or these are great because they have an envelope in there, and just stick in surplus, keep looking at it. If you're a parent, you can actually do this with your children. It's really exciting. You could do it with friends. Say, hey, let's meet once a month and work on our vision books. That's a great thing to do together. It's very, very connecting. If you're a boss, you could encourage all your staff to have vision books working on a goal that the company has. So the way you feel about everything is down to the pictures in your mind and the words you say to yourself. When your vision book is full of exciting pictures and exciting words, then you're going to make that real. You make your habits make you. When you have a vision book full of good habits, healthy actions, healthy lifestyle, healthy thoughts, peace of mind, maybe even you're meditating, you cannot help but move towards that because you're filling up your mind with what you want. Your mind's job is to move you towards what you want and to move you away from what you don't want. It's very easy to confuse your mind. I love cake, but I shouldn't eat it. I want love, but I might get dumped. I want to go to the gym, but it's so painful and it's expensive and I just haven't got the time. I want my own business, but I'm worried about losing all my money and it's taking all my time to work on it because I got a full-time job. So now your mind is confused. Oh, you want it, but you don't want it. You just said, I really want to be a speaker, but what if people laugh me off the stage? So now you've filled up your mind with something very conflicting. If you have a picture of you speaking and people are standing up giving you an ovation, and you can even get a picture like that and stick your head on the speaker, that's a great thing to do. And then say, I love speaking. My audience love me. Now your mind is very clear. You want that because you haven't filled it up with a but. I want to speak. What if I'm no good? I want love. What if I get dumped? I want to be healthy, but who can live their life without cake or beer? Make it crystal clear. Your mind's job is to do what it thinks you want to do in your job, and it is a great job. The best job is to let your mind know clearly, specifically, in a relevant, up-to-date way what you want. And nothing is going to tell your mind what you want better than your vision book. So he who hesitates is lost. Start it right now. Check out my next video here. I see all my clients and they all say the same thing. I'm waiting for motivation. You know what? Motivation doesn't go, here I am. I'm motivation. I'm at your door and I've come to motivate you. You are firing new neurons. The mind